What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Military History Chronicles. After a fun day of football. Holy crap, huh? How about them games? We could get into that just a little bit here in the beginning. Wait for a little bit more people to show up. 6 people in here. Appreciate the support, guys. I sent out the link to Will, so I'm just waiting for him to show up. I'm pretty sure he'll show up here a little bit later. But yeah, today, Mexican-American War. It occurred in 1846 to 1848. I kind of want to talk about that because it it leads a little bit into my favorite topic, which is the Civil War. But of course, there's a lot more other things that the war achieved, and we could get into it. Also talk about some of the leaders that were in that. Specifically, you got Generals Zachary Taylor and General Winfield Scott. Yeah, he was famous during during the Civil War. They called him what did they call him? How could the name escapes me? But yeah, he was an old man by the time it was the Civil War. But yeah, anyways, we'll get into that here a little bit. Old Fuss and Feathers, that's what it was. Fuss and Feathers. That was his nickname. Yeah, he loved the wearing the uniform. I guess that you could just leave it at that. Hopefully your guys' evening has gone well. What's up, Benji? Good to see you in here. I know Jim Everett, he popped in right when I created the stream. Disease played a big role. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it did. But we could get more into that. Disease plays a role in a lot of wars. Some more than others, depending on the type of climate. You got a temperate climate. Yeah, you're going to run into disease, kind of just like with, even the Civil War, when in the South, there was a lot of disease. Anytime you're in the jungle or in, like I said, temperate rainforests, man, you really have to watch out for disease, especially in the early days when there wasn't the treatment for those diseases wasn't as advanced as it was later on. All right, hey, Will B just showed up. What's up, Will?
Yo, it's cracking, man.
How's it going?
It's going.
I was just kind of talking, just summarizing a little bit what we're going to get into. But how about them football games today, huh?
Oh my god! I had a feeling the Chiefs would squeak one out there, but what's up,
hey, man, the way that the Bills were just manhandling them,
they were running all over them, dude.
Running all over them. Oh my gosh! I was like, this is. But then again, every time Kansas City Chiefs had the ball, they kind of had their way with them as well.
They were having their own way too, yeah.
So it should be exciting. Next Sunday, you got Chiefs versus the Ravens and the Lions, which was the first game today, versus the Niners. That Lions game was good too.
No, yeah,
Lions are going to be tough. Lions are going to be tough, I think.
It was interesting. I had the Bucks to pick to win that game. They almost did.
Yeah, the second half though was kind of the game was.
It was blasé.
Gosh, but you know what? Quarterbacks on all ends were just on all four quarterbacks were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Baker unfortunately threw that pick at the very end, but that would have taken a miracle for them to try to get back into it anyways.
Yeah, Jordan loved himself.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Right.
Good for us, man.
Yeah, we'll see. The defense, the Detroit's defense isn't that great. You know, it's not like it doesn't seem that way. I know maybe I could be wrong, but it may be a shootout in San Francisco though, for sure.
I think it could be. I think it could get out of control, especially how we saw our defense get torn apart yesterday.
God, that looked bad, didn't it?
Oh my god, dude! We did not deserve to win that game at all.
No,
I mean, we got freaking lucky, bro. But hey, you know what?
Absolutely. Hopefully, the last drive, that was the best in the whole game.
The last drive.
58 minutes worth of that football game was garbage. The last 2 minutes.
It's like, there's Brock Purdy. Oh, he's back now. He's alone.
Did you notice there was a definite change?
Why? What the hell happened here?
Defensive line. All of a sudden, they weren't doing nothing. The whole game, they were pressure. that last drive, it's like all of a sudden there was a dam. It's like, what happened? It was weird. I don't know.
What was this?
Were they just going to like a prevent defense or something? It was very odd.
It was. Hey man, we squeaked it out.
Exactly. I kind of like what Willis had to say. He was more relieved than he was happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I felt exactly what Willis was feeling, man. Like that was a nail biter if there ever was one.
And some of the play calling too was a little bit odd. Real quick before we get into the set stuff, was there any update on Debo?
They haven't said specifically what he's got going on with him. It might be just like a little. But it is a shoulder issue, and they do expect him to play in the NFC Championship.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
So but if it was, I don't know. But he's been dealing with that AC joint for a while now, I believe.
I saw games. There were people in the chat yesterday when we went on just for a little bit talking about it's the same injury he had when he was played against Cleveland, supposedly. Yeah. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. Real quick, how about that Shakir kid? Who the heck is he?
I'll probably draft him. I like him and that Rashee Rice, man.
Yeah. Yep. Matter of fact, I had Rice in the beginning of the season for
well, there was a few days there. Well, there's a few weeks, I'm gonna say that, where he was kind of just like, nah.
Right. But he showed
up towards the end. Yeah, he got real good.
But that Shakir kid, goodness, that catch he had in the end zone, what? that was incredible.
Yeah, the one where he's just diving out of the end zone. He maintained his feet planted. Yeah, that was.
And I don't know how Josh Allen got that throw off, man.
Oh yeah, he was about to get careened.
Man, and the other kid, the running back, 26. I can't remember what his last name was. He was looking better than Cook.
Oh. That's the old man. That's old Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
That dude's, 32, 33 or something like that? Maybe a little older than that even. Yeah.
Then the kicker goes wide right.
Then he goes wide right. It always comes down. Oh, Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson. That's who it was.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They brought him on board later in the season, I believe. Yeah, I know they've got like so many running backs on it. They have Latavius Murray and Leonard Fournette.
Yep.
Good. Those guys were really good back in the day.
Yep.
Well, yeah. But anyways.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get into the whole Mexican-American War. We're also gonna do a little bit of current event stuff. A lot of stuff's going on. Holy criminy, huh?
Jeez, man. Let's cross our fingers on this one. I don't want to get a weird phone call in the middle of the night. Hey, man.
Yeah, Middle East keeps doing its thing. We're gonna have to get into that. Current political thing. Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, DeSantis dropped out, endorsed Trump. DeSantis wasn't making as much money though as Haley. Haley was making a lot more money than DeSantis, so I could understand why he did that. He's seeing the writing on the wall. So,
yeah.
But I said this from the beginning. It's going to be Trump. He was the guy you had to beat, and I just right now, at this point in time, I just don't see it happening. Is he going to be your damn nominee though? Come election time, who knows, man?
Who knows? See what happens.
But the way it's looking, it's going to be a Trump Biden part 2. We'll see how that works. A thriller in Manila. All right. Mexican-American War happened in 1846. That's when it began. But I'm going to go back a little bit further, in one of the reasons why, that war happened. And a lot of it was our own internal issues within the country. I'm going to go ahead and go back all the way to 1820. Anyone remember what happened in 1820? Is there anything in 1820 that was of a significance in the United States? I'm asking the chat to see if anyone knows. 1820. People typing away in Google. Louisiana Purchase? No, not quite. But it does have to do with the land that was purchased during the Louisiana Purchase. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was 1803, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. 1803. Yep. 1820. All right. I'll go ahead. There was something called the Missouri Compromise. Thank you, Joshua.
Oh,
As I was saying it. The Missouri Compromise of 1820. Okay, this was huge. Here, let's break it down here. What exactly the Missouri Compromise was all about, and take a guess at what was the motivating factor of the Missouri Compromise of 1820. Anyone could guess? Really easy. What was happening during that period of time? Migration west. That was a big thing that was happening even before then. But yeah, migration west. Well, the biggest thing happening, of course, was the issue of slavery.
Yep.
It wasn't getting really hot and heavy, but it was getting there. The 1850s, it's really it. I mean, it was getting bad as far as the debate. I mean, I guess you could even say the 1840s
It was picking up.
as well.
It was definitely picking up.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll share this so we can all read it together. Woo, went a little bit too. There we go. This legislation admitted Missouri as a slave state and Maine as a non-slave state at the time, so as not to upset the balance between the slave and free states in the nation. It also outlawed slavery above the 3630 latitude line in the remainder of the Louisiana Purchase. With the purchase of the Louisiana Territory and the application of Missouri for statehood, the long-standing balance between the number of slave states and the number of free states would be changed. Controversy arose within Congress over the issue of slavery. Congress adopted this legislation and admitted Missouri as a slave state and Maine as a non-slave state at the same time, so that the balance between slave and free states in the nation would remain equal. The Missouri Compromise also proposed that slavery to be prohibited above the 3630 latitude line in the remainder of the Louisiana Territory. This provision held for 34 years, and this is another thing we could get into. I'm not going to get into it now because it's after the fact, was the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854. And yada, yada. We're not going to get into that. So that's what it was. I want to also show you the map so we understand what we're talking about here. There it is. Cool. I like this one because I can also zoom in. Is it zooming in for you guys?
Yeah, it's going.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. So at that time, there was issues with slave states. They were all down here in the South, of course. Anytime legislation was happening in Congress, it was sectional. Sectional as in the southern states being slave, the northern states being non-slave states. And they would always run into issues when they're trying to pass certain bills for the government, because the slave states always wanted to involve slavery in some fashion. And of course, the northern states didn't want to have anything to do with slavery. You know, they're holding on, of course, to, we talked about this before. The what was that? The 1783 Compromise, right? I think that was the Northwest Ordinance, I think is what it's called. It was in 1793, where they said any states formed in the Northwest Territory would be free. So there's always been, the underlying issue had always been slavery. And it was starting to, rear its ugly head in legislation trying to be passing in Congress and also the Senate. So the slave states, they wanted to make sure slavery stayed within their states. That couldn't be messed with, right? Well, what happened was in the Missouri Compromise, because Maine at that time, there was, I don't know if it was slave or not. I think they were deciding what they wanted to do, but they hadn't been admitted into the Union yet. That's what it was. Maine was not in the Union yet. But when the southern states were going to block it if they didn't allow it to be a slave state, for the simple fact that if it became a non-slave state, then they would have a majority in Congress, and then they could circumnavigate any kind of issues that the slave states may want. So that was up here. Well, Henry Clay, famous congressman, I think he was also a senator, if I'm not mistaken, drew up a compromise known as the Missouri Compromise of 1820. So what would happen is Maine in 1820 would come in as a free state, as you could see. It says free states there. Missouri would enter the Union as a slave state. All right. So the thing is, see, this became slave soil, but and this would be Oklahoma and Arkansas. Anyways, so anything above the Missouri line, as you can see, free territory, and to the west of Missouri was all free territory. Okay, this is all. You can see that line right here. All this line coming over here. This was all U.S. territory, whether it was territory or a state. Over here, of course, was all Spanish or Mexican possessions. Up here in Oregon country was actually Great Britain had owned this territory up here. So that's what we have. You got the Missouri Compromise, 1820. Missouri comes in as a slave state. Maine comes in as a free state. And, you know, we still have deadlock in Congress because the slave states are going to block, free states will block, yada, yada, yada. All right. Let's get into this. Anyone know who James Polk is? Quick
He was
quick quiz time. Who was James Polk?
a great big fat guy.
I don't think he was a fat guy. I think you're thinking of
the other.
You're thinking of
Yeah. He ended up dying too. Yeah, wasn't he assassinated or something?
Mm-hmm. He served his whole term. James Polk, he was a president. He was the 11th president, right? But the guy was best buddies with good old Andrew Jackson. What did Andrew Jackson love? Well, I shouldn't say love.
Destiny.
Manifest Destiny. What was the Manifest Destiny? It was all about West.
The Western frontier.
Exactly. Expanding to the West. Okay. And look, here's the deal. There was, you know, because at the time you had your Democrats and your Whigs. Okay. Neither side were really opposed against expansion. The problem was, what did that expansion consist of? The slave states, of course. Any expansion had to involve slavery.
Right.
Again, it's always coming down to slavery. Same thing with the northern states. With the Whigs, any westward expansion should not involve slavery. Well, James Polk came into office. Let's see. Let's read a little bit about good old James Polk. We'll get rid of the map for now. Which one do I want to use? Do I want to use not that one yet? Where is it? Where is he at? There it is. From his own library. Look at this. Who is James Polk? Let's start with the basics. Here, let me zoom that in. James Knox Polk was the 11th president of the United States from 1845 to 1849. As president, he oversaw the largest territorial expansion in American history, over 1 million square miles of land, acquired through the treaty with England, and this is what we're going to get into, war with Mexico. At the end of a single term, Polk had literally reshaped the nation, fulfilling the American spirit of Manifest Dynasty. But big changes have big consequences. He was born in a log cabin in Mecklenburg, North Carolina. His father, Samuel, was a wealthy farmer, which usually means what?
Slaves.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was probably cotton, because if you're in North Carolina, that's where you grew a lot of cotton. Don't get me wrong, you have a lot of tobacco as well.
Tobacco too, yeah.
And a land surveyor who decided to move his family west across the Appalachian Mountains to try their fortunes in the frontier state of Tennessee. The Polk family thrived in their new western home, eventually settling in a small town of Columbia. It was in this setting that James Polk began to shape his political beliefs and worldview. So there we go. So, and he was also, let's see if it got into it here. I know it was in the other one. Here we go. Polk's rapid political ascension was aided in part by his relationship to another of Tennessee's most famous politicians, Andrew Jackson. James Polk was a stalwart Jacksonian Democrat who supported expanded suffrage and limited federal government, which is fine, right? There's nothing wrong with expanded suffrage. There's nothing wrong with limited federal government.
Especially that part.
I could go along with that. But the problem is they also were staunch proponents of slavery. That's the problem. Okay, that's where you lose a lot of people there. Okay. All right, let's see where are we gonna go in here. Do I want to get here? Who is James Polk? Actually, I'm gonna get more into here. Let's do the other one. Okay, that's kind of a synopsis of good old James Polk. I want to get into the other one where it gets a little bit more into the Mexican War stuff here. All right, here we go. So we could get into this.
I want to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, look, for him to get the nomination of the Democrats in 1844, it took like 9 different tries for him to get the nomination.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot. It took a lot of nominations for him to get it. The Whig was Henry Clay. Matter of fact, the guy who authored the Missouri Compromise of 1820. All right, here we go. Where are we at here? I don't want to worry about the. Here we go.
Oh, they call it an acquisition of California.
Acquisition of California.
Interesting word choice.
Right. Well, that's what he tried to do.
Right?
He
tried to.
Yeah. Polk sent an envoy to offer Mexico up to $20 million plus settlement of damaged claims owed to Americans in return for California and New Mexico country. Since no Mexican leader could cede half his country and still stay in power, Polk's envoy was not received. Here we go. To bring pressure, Polk sent General Zachary Taylor to the disputed area on the Rio Grande. To Mexican troops, this was aggression, and they attacked Taylor's forces. And guess what happened? Congress declared war, despite much of northern opposition. Imagine that, okay? Supported the military operations, okay? American forces won repeated victories and occupied Mexico City. Finally, in 1848, Mexico ceded New Mexico and California in return to $15 million and the American assumption of the damage of claims. So basically, it was almost the same deal if they talked to the envoy, except they lost $5 million and they got invaded.
Yep.
Here we go. President Polk added a vast area to the United States, but its acquisition precipitated a bitter quarrel between the North and the South over expansion of slavery. All right, let me get back here. Okay, this is the problem. There was a lot of support. Like I said, there's a lot of people that wanted to expand westward. We're talking Whigs and Democrats at the time. Democrats were pro-slavery, Whigs were anti-slavery. We're just going to keep it simple. I don't want to get too crazy. So the westward expansion was heralded, but the problem was it always came down to slavery. And a matter of fact, there was a lot written during that time. Matter of fact, I got some quotes here from General Grant's memoirs, more about General Taylor and General Scott. But he talks about, and there was a lot of people who were in the army were saying they understood the purpose of what the war was about.
Right.
And it was about the westward expansion of slavery. Polk was trying to get, because remember, there could be no more slave states north and to the west of Missouri. That was right. That was verboten, according to the compromise of 1820. But any Mexican territory that came in, which is further to the west, and south of the northern border of Missouri, they could enter as slave states. And what would happen? Of course, they would get more power in Congress and the Senate, whatever it may be, and then they could, continue on. As a matter of fact, though, what that does is it I'm not going to say it trumps, but it gave the ability for Congress to try to get rid of the Missouri Compromise of 1820. I mean, if you think about it, there was like I said, you got the Northwest Ordinance that was trying to get rid of slavery. You got the Missouri Compromise of 1820 that was trying to get rid of slavery. They actually got rid of it we talked about it earlier, or briefly mentioned the Nebraska-Kansas Act of 1854. That basically abolished the compromise, which in turn led to that Dred Scott. You guys know about the Dred Scott decision. I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, that's
basically that's when the Supreme Court basically said black people aren't equal to white people,
right?
And they could never be a citizen, which is probably the worst Supreme Court decision ever made. But what's up, Robert?
Let's not forget too, Polk was a little sneaky guy, man. He sent over old John C. Fremont to take over California.
Yeah. There was a lot going on. Exactly. And you got to remember, think about this too, because prior to the Mexican-American War, Mexico would have had all that gold that they found in 1848, 1849, exactly. Right?
Right.
But because we were able to get it over, guess who gets all the gold? Yeah. Which immensely helped the nation to get strong financially. So yeah, you got Polk, who wanted to embark on, Jackson's Manifest Dynasty. What do you want to say? I don't want to say method, ideals. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what happened. Now we could get into it. Here, let's get into the actual war. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna get the map of it, the best map I could get. Actually, let's do this one first. Mexican-American War. Here we go. This also breaks down a little bit of the history too. You guys can find this. Go to the National Park Service. All you got to do is type in Mexican-American War and you'll be able to find it. Excellent. You got here we're going to get into this a little bit here. We already talked a little bit about it. Oh, damn near every Civil War general will partake in this except for Sherman. Sherman was over in Florida and the Carolinas, and then he transferred over to California after the war. He didn't like that either. But anyways, here we go. Okay, the immediate cause of the Mexican-American War was a disputed boundary between the United States and Texas on the Nueces. You guys gonna have to help me with that. Nueces Strip. Mexico did not recognize Texas as legitimate American territory, and Texas admission to the United States antagonized Mexican officials and citizens. Rather than ameliorate this problem, President Polk intentionally worked to aggravate Mexico and provoke a war. On January 13th, 1846, Polk ordered American forces into deeply disputed territory. In April, an army of approximately 4,000 men, led by General Zachary Taylor, entered the Nueces Strip, a contested territory that Mexico and many Americans regarded as never having been part of Texas. Polk knew this action would antagonize Mexican military forces stationed within sight of Taylor's army at Matamoros. Colonel Hitchcock, who served with Zachary Taylor's army, could see the real intention of his deployment from his vantage point on the front lines. This is Colonel Hitchcock. We have not one particle of right to be here. It looks as if the government sent a small force on purpose to bring on a war, so as to have a pretext for taking California and as much of this country as it chooses.
No, you think?
No, not at that time, right? Oh my gosh. On April 9th, Taylor's army deployed the bulk of its artillery within striking distance of the 16,000 person city of Matamoros, Mexico. The U.S. Navy then cut off Matamoros off from the Gulf of Mexico, creating a blockade by land and water of Mexican civilians and soldiers just across the Nueces River from Taylor's forces. April 24th, Mexican forces crossed the Matamoros River to break the blockade. Taylor sent a small force to respond, and a Mexican army opened fire, killing 11 soldiers. The site of this battlefield is now preserved as the Palo Alto Battlefield National Historical Park. And then, of course, he had this all ready to go. When the word reached Washington, D.C. 2 weeks later, President James K. Polk informed Congress that the cup of forbearance has been exhausted even before the recent information from the frontier of the Del Norte or Rio Grande. But now, after reiterated menaces Mexico has passed the boundary of the United States, has invaded our territory, and shed American blood upon American soil. She has proclaimed that hostilities have commenced and that the two nations are now at war. Matter of fact, Abraham Lincoln did not like that. He was a congressman at the time, tried to challenge the war by demanding proof that the spot where the war began was on U.S. soil. He kind of caught grief for that because a lot of people, of course, wanted, whether it was Whig or Democrat, wanted to expand the territory of the United States. So, like I said, the biggest issue was slavery. Let's see. Here we go. U.S. military was widely successful and used a combination of innovative strategy, competent officership. Bingo, right there. Luck. That's also chance. You know who talks about chance? My good old buddy, Karl von Clausewitz. And brutality. He also states that as well. To achieve victory. American forces captured Mexico City within 16 months of the war's beginning. And expeditionary forces also fought battles in California and New Mexico that enabled us to seizure vast tracts of territory. And then, of course, that's when they found the gold in California. All right, we'll just do another map here. Where did I do with that one? Oh, this one right here. Boom. Okay, this is what they're talking about. This is where Taylor was, General Taylor. He was over in this area right here. See, there's Matamoros right here. This is the area that was in dispute. Mm-hmm. This is where it started. And then you had Taylor had a bunch of numerous, I think he had 3 victories in this region against the Mexicans. Okay. Then Winfield Scott came in. This is a story in itself. He came down here. His idea was to come to Veracruz and then march straight to Mexico City. Now we can start getting into some stuff here. Why do you think Taylor was left in the dust and all of a sudden Winfield Scott comes on the scene?
Oh man, it was political, something to do with politics. Right?
Yeah, it is absolutely, because Zachary Taylor had already made it known that he was going to run for president. Right. And what happens? Okay, if you're a general and you're having success on a battlefield and you're going to be running for president, what's that look like? You're going to have competition. And not only are you going to have competition, he was a Whig. So, Democrats and Whigs, of course, the whole, who's going to control, whether it's Congress or the White House, it always comes down to the slavery question. If you're a Whig, usually you were anti-slavery for the most part. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's probably some Democrats that were anti-slavery, and I'm sure there were some Whigs that were pro-slavery. But on the majority, the Whigs were anti, and the Democrats were pro. So Polk says, you know what, Taylor, you're done. I'm bringing in Winfield Scott. He could come in. He's not saying anything about wanting to run for political office, even though he had ambitions possibly. But he was more worried about Taylor. And then for the most part, I mean, not in all intents and purposes, I guess you could say that. For all intents and purposes, he was relieved of duty just because of his political ideology and the success he was having. But Winfield Scott came in here. This is one thing that Winfield Scott that was absolutely fantastic in. The biggest thing, and this is something that Ulysses S. Grant was able to use during his Vicksburg campaign. And it's something that was never done. And what do you think Winfield Scott did down here in Veracruz on his march to Mexico City? I'm asked to chat that. I'm pretty sure you know, Will. What is the big deal? Okay, just look at the map. No problem, Aaron. What's up? See the Veracruz here? Actually, I'm not playing. Let me do this. Way easier to do that. Hold on. Okay. Let me bring that. See, here's Veracruz right here, right? And he wants to go to Mexico City. What is the issue? I'll come back to that in a bit. What is the biggest issue for Winfield Scott to be able to undertake that type of strategy? Just give them a few here. And there's a delay, so you got to kind of have to wait a little bit. I kind of gave a hint about what Grant did. Hills, there is an issue with that, but it makes it part of terrain. There is an issue with that, but there's something more to that. Terrain is an issue, but there's something much bigger. I'll give you a hint. This is U.S. territory. This is Veracruz. Look at do you see this? That says 300 miles, right? That's probably, we're talking what? 700, 800 miles, right?
Just about.
From Veracruz to U.S. territory, we're talking about 700 to 800 miles. And this is all enemy territory. What is one of the biggest things you have as a military commander? What is something that you can never ignore? Even though it's not glorious, it's not going to win you glory on the battlefield, but if you don't have it, you're going to lose. They would be isolated, okay? Not so much as getting back home, but how are you going to sustain an army? How do you sustain an army that is that many miles away from friendly territory? Okay, yeah, withdrawal, that is an issue. But how do you sustain? Water, okay, that is an issue. They can find water. But how do you sustain the warfighter? How do you get them the food? How do you give them their ammunition? How do you give them their guns? How do you treat the wounded? This is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that a commander actually broke away from his supply or lines of communication, supply lines, whatever it may be, exactly. So he had no way of being supplied by the United States. So he had to live off the land. This is something that Ulysses S. Grant used. And what's fantastic is he was able to go to Veracruz, fight through the mountains, as Benji mentioned, talking about the terrain, fought through the mountains. Matter of fact, if you do some reading on it, they had to take artillery up literally like mountain cliffs. They actually transported artillery up mountain cliffs to be able to support the fight, and it worked. They were able to take Mexico City with no problem. As you can see, they were able to get this done in the time was incredible. I mean, the war started in 1846 and was done in 1848. Well, I shouldn't say it actually finished in 1847, but the treaty was signed in 1848. So this was a huge thing that Winfield Scott was able to do. He was able to live off the land, was able to use the weaponry of the Mexicans and the Spanish, and still be able to continue to fight without being supplied. Of course, once they got to Mexico City, or the leadership capitulated. Lo and behold, United States now has all that territory. Where was it at again? Yeehaw. Look at that. So not all of it. You could barely see the border down here. California, the southern border is down here. But all this area here became part of the United States. Okay, but they weren't states. What was it? It was just territory, right? So
right.
What?
Yeah.
Just
Texas
territory.
Republic. Was the Bear Republic, Texas Republic.
And then Polk was actually able to negotiate with the British to take the Oregon country, which became, of course, Oregon and Washington. So it's unique because we are able to expand our country with a war that is questionable at the least of whether it was legitimate. But unfortunately, in war, that kind of happens, right?
Yeah.
If you're not strong enough, sometimes that happens. I mean, it sounds morbid. It sounds unethical, but that's what it came down to in that period of time. that the westward movement of the United States involved this war, the successful conclusion of this war. But it also created much more animosity between the sectional issues between the North and the South.
Right.
Because there were people, there was a lot of people pissed off in how this was undertook. Like I said, you had Ulysses S. Grant, you had Abraham Lincoln, you had a bunch of generals who came out and said, and political leaders who said they didn't like the way that this went down as far as being able to gain this territory as far as through war. They probably could have gained it without firing a shot. Like I said, but like they said, would the Spanish been able to give that up without a fight? Probably not. Even though, it took them getting beat on the battlefield for them to come to terms. So I don't know if they would ever been able to negotiate getting that territory from the Spanish.
Probably not.
Because you got to remember at that time, even though it's called the Mexican-American War, I mean, who was really running the show?
Okay, it was really Spain versus the United States.
It was Spain, exactly. They call it the Mexican-American War because there was also the Spanish-American War. That's how we were able to have a presence in the Philippines. If I'm not mistaken, I think that had to do with Cuba as well, right?
Cuba,
the Spanish,
yeah.
So there's a bunch of things going on with the Spanish-American War, but this was the Mexican-American War, which again was all predicated on what necessarily? I mean, yes, there was that manifest dynasty going on, but what were the undertones? The undertones was slavery, the expansion of slavery, trying to circumvent the Compromise of 1820 because the Southern states did not want their way of life to be infringed upon in any way.
They wanted political control. That's what it was all about.
Oh, absolutely. And there was debate. There was a lot of debates going on. Like I said, the transcontinental, because it started up here. Actually, it started up in Illinois and it came across the northern part. Well, during that time, they couldn't decide. I shouldn't say they couldn't decide. There was no consensus on where the transcontinental railroad should have been built. Of course, the southern states said it should be a southern route. North says it's got to be a northern route. So that really created some issues. Now, once the Civil War started and getting towards the end, of course, you got President Lincoln, who authorized the transcontinental to start being built from, of course, Chicago, Illinois, going all the way over to good old San Francisco. Well, I guess you could say Sacramento, but yeah, went all the way to the west. So these, like I said, I'm a big Civil War guy, and I kind of like talking about stuff that, had something to do with the Civil War. And the Mexican-American War of 1846 had a lot of issues with that. Not only that, it was also a proving ground for a lot of these young officers. You had Robert E. Lee. You got P.G.T. Beauregard. You got Ulysses S. Grant. You had General Pickett. You had General Longstreet. You had who else? George McClellan. I mean, there were so many different guys who at that time were only captains and lieutenants who partaked in this war.
Yeah, and they all served together.
They all served together.
They all
exactly under one flag.
They under one flag, and they all invited each other 20 years later.
And there was a lot of friendships that were built.
Yeah.
There's a lot of friendships. There really wasn't no animosity between the generals that fought on the north and the south. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you could find little bits here and there, but for the most part, everyone just picked a side, and that's the side they went on.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, Winfield Scott, he was a Virginian, and he stayed with the Union. George Thomas was a Virginian. He stayed with the Union. What's his name? Oh my God, how come I can't think of his name? Oh my God, I can't think of his name. There was a bunch of I'm trying to think if there was any Northerners in the South. I don't think there might have been. I just can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah. So you had this war, a lot of people cut their teeth. The generals that were to fight in the Civil War cut their teeth there in the Mexican-American War. And yeah, like I said, a lot of friends faced off against each other. And unfortunately, it had to come to that. But again, all because of slavery. I shouldn't say all because, but that was the undertones. That was Definitely. The undertones. A lot of this stuff was because of the institute, what they call the peculiar institution of slavery. Crazy.
Yeah, everything else we got from it, the resources, whatnot, the land, that was pretty much a bonus.
Yeah, like the Louisiana Purchase. Oh my God, you want to talk about getting that deal done at the right time?
Oh,
because France, Napoleon needed money to fight the British because he was already because they had the Louisiana Purchase. The biggest city, of course, at that time was New Orleans. That was used to supply the French forces in Saint Dominique, which is now Haiti, because there was a huge slave uprising. Matter of fact, the slaves won.
Yeah,
we talked about that before, right?
The only one in history.
Soon as France lost it, Napoleon had no other means of really having this territory over here in quote unquote the New World, but he needed money. So lo and behold, Jefferson sends over his envoys to France, talks with Napoleon. Next thing you know, we have the Louisiana Purchase, which was just incredible.
We have access to one of the greatest things of all time, the mighty Mississippi.
Yep. Exactly. Especially at that time.
Brilliant move.
Especially at that time. Yeah, see, here's the free soil. See, here's the ordinance. See, they even got it broken up here. You see that? The free ordinance by 17. See? So I like this map. It kind of breaks it down. It shows you the free states at the time of 1820. You could see all the years that they came into the Union. You got Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. I think the other ones are a little bit too small to put numbers in. But this is supposed to be free soil. In other words, no slavery in this area. Free territory by the Missouri Compromise, which was all of the Louisiana Purchase except Louisiana, Arkansas, what became Arkansas and Oklahoma, and Missouri. Crazy.
And for anybody wondering what the Nueces Strip was, it was the southern tip of Texas.
Is that here? Let me see if I can find it here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it's right there. Hold up. Let me get this one. That map that I had actually shows there it is. Right here. Oh, can't zoom in. Right here. The Nueces.
Corpus Christi.
I don't think it's the most southern because that's kind of the Corpus Christi isn't the further because I think it goes further down now. Matter of fact,
it goes further.
Fort Brown became what is now Brownsville.
Brownsville, yeah. Right
and way over here, this is where Starship. This is where Starship's being built. Over here in known as they call it Starbase, but the village of Boca Chica was over here. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Boca Chica.
Yep.
Let's go party.
Yeah, it's like a little village out there. But yeah, that's the kind of in a nutshell. Oh, you know what? Here, let's talk about here. I'm going to get into this real quick because I love Ulysses S. Grant. I think you guys already know that. He's one of my most famous generals, or he's one of my most favorite generals, I should say. And he has interesting things to say about both General Taylor and General Scott. Okay, this is what he had to say about the two generals. This is coming from Ulysses S. Grant's memoirs. He says, in their modes of expressing thought, these two generals contrasted quite as strongly as in their characteristics. General Scott was precise in language, cultivated a style peculiarly his own. I can't say that word. I hate that. Was proud of his rhetoric, not adverse to speaking of himself. often in the third person, and he could bestow praise upon the person he was talking about without the least embarrassment. In other words, he had no qualms about talking about himself. Taylor was not a conversationalist, but on paper he could put his meaning so plainly that there could be no mistaking it. He knew how to express what he wanted to, or what he wanted to say, in the fewest well-chosen words, but would not sacrifice meaning to the construction of a high-sounding sentence. But with their opposite characteristics, both were great, successful soldiers. Both were true, patriotic, and upright in their dealings. Both were pleasant to serve under. Taylor was pleasant to serve with. Scott saw more thought the eyes of his staff officers than through his own. His plans were deliberately prepared and fully expressed in orders. Taylor saw for himself and gave orders to meet the emergency without reference to how they would be read in history. So the biggest takeaway I take from that, Winfield Scott, I guess, had a bigger picture, but he relied on his staff officers to kind of plan out what was happening. General Taylor, on the other hand, he understood. He could see the battle, how the battle is going to play out. He strategized. He didn't rely on staff officers. He was the ultimate arbiter of what was going to happen on the battlefield. So it's unique. And then, of course, you got Scott, who was a little bit, they call him fuss and feathers for a reason, because he loved adorning his uniform and having all the damn accoutrements, you name it. He had everything on his uniform, right? And he talked highly of himself. Zachary Taylor's a little bit more down to earth, really didn't care about how he was dressed. He just wanted to make sure he had the correct plan to go forward. So, yeah, it's unique.
Two different styles of leadership.
Sure. Absolutely. But even though they're two different styles of leadership, they got the job done.
Oh, yeah. They both work.
Yes, they do. People call it the war of northern aggression, the war between the states.
That's pretty much what Nikki Haley said. She might as well have said that.
I know. What? I don't even get it. No. I don't understand how you could come out with that. But yeah, there's a war between the states, that unfortunate time, or something like that. Someone said, yeah, that most unfortunate time. Of course, the Civil War, the War of Secession, you name it.
Wow.
Why did they say that? Because they felt like the Northern came in to try to change their way of life.
Exactly.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. They thought that the Northern were transgressing their way of life.
Right.
See, because the problem is they looked at slavery as property. They didn't look at them as people, as fellow citizens. It was property.
They were objects, right?
Right. It's just they looked upon slaves as the land that they owned. It was property.
They literally looked at them like farm equipment.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it came down to. But the issue is, then when they began to secede, look, don't get me wrong. There was people in the North who did not. What's the word? Who did not believe in. They didn't believe in slavery. They may have not thought that slaves were as the equal. There was a lot of that in the North. They felt that the slaves were a quote unquote lower class of people, if you even want to call people, but they didn't believe in slavery. And most importantly, the people in the North despised the notion of secession. They were huge pro-union. They wanted a union to stay together. We are together in this in one. No one should be able to just arbitrarily just say, you know what? I'm leaving the union. So there was a lot of that going on. All right. Kind of, damn, I did that. Damn.
That was good, man.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Anyone else have anything out there? Because before we get into the good old current events, that should be a lot of fun.
If you guys like stuff like this, there is if you have a Samsung Smart TV or a Samsung phone, you have access to what's called Samsung TV Plus. There's a pretty
Thanks, BJ.
badass channel out there that has stuff just like what he's talking about. Mexican-American War, all great documentaries you never find on YouTube.
Yeah.
I have to remember the damn channel's name now, but yeah, it's check it out.
I'm not getting really deep. Some people could get really deep.
Oh yeah.
But because there's so many different ways. The thing is when you try to take it as a macro, as a big,
it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
It's easier to do macro, but when you start getting into you could start going off in all these other directions. And I kind of want to try to stay. I have a tendency to start drifting, but
if you guys want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into this, I would recommend checking out how we took over California. What James, what Polk sent John C. Fremont out to do. Kit Carson. Yeah, badass. Absolute badass.
He didn't do much in the Civil War at all.
No, he didn't do anything. I don't know.
He was kind of like
he was a lieutenant, right? He didn't want to really be in the Army, right? He was just kind of his own little dude, really.
Yeah, there was some religious undertones. Absolutely, the Southerners. The thing is, it even started. Here's the deal: you could go back into when this country was formed because there was definitely different. The United States was always had a sectional tilt to it. The Southerners were, not maybe right in the beginning of the forming of the country, but it was more that gentlemanly, the aristocracy feel of how civilization should be. The North were more industrious and trying to make a buck. And it was just, there was always tension between, and not to mention, and it's kind of weird because in the North, the political leanings was they had no issues so much with taxes as long as it was building up the government. They had they liked internal improvements to whether it's transportation, like river canals, the rivers, or building canals, taking care of the rivers, railroads, all that type of stuff. Anything that improved the infrastructure of commerce. That was huge. The South were more laid back, was about being a gentleman, being a landed owner. That was huge. That, and as a matter of fact, that kind of goes back to the roots of English. Having landed property, that made you, a little bit higher. It was all about, like I said, the aristocracy.
And actually, that's where the Southern accent comes from. They're trying to mirror,
yes,
British aristocracy,
which is weird because the how do you say it? It's weird just how all that plays out because the Republicans, not the party, not the political party, but the ideology back in the revolutionary times, the Republicans were huge in less government, stay out of our business, less taxes. And what was the other things that they went? That was kind of like the main thing. And the Federalists were about high taxes, wanting to build up. They wanted to build the United States similar to what Europe is, into a powerhouse, so they can, be able to kind of throw their power around. So it's quite unique in how that all worked out because the Republicans were very anti-aristocracy.
Right.
The Federalists were very, very into the aristocracy. But then it kind of started going the other way. It's
I mean, even Thomas Jefferson, while we were going through the War of Independence, he was still all about Britain. Hey, we should mirror them. What they're doing is great.
Yep. And then, as a matter of fact, the Republicans of early America were very pro-French.
Right, yeah.
Because they saw, hey, they're taking over their government, right? They're not letting government intrude into their lives. But then they started seeing the counter-revolution kick into play, and they're like, wait a second. We don't want to be associated with France anymore.
Hold on.
What is going on? Yeah, exactly. It's
going to happen to us.
It's crazy. Exactly. Because then they're worried, oh, wait a second. Now we may be in jeopardy of losing our heads. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how all that stuff works out.
Oh, my God.
But the thing is, there's so much out there. I mean, there's honestly, there's almost not enough time to read on all of it. I try to get as much as I can, but it's like, man,
I mean, you could talk about just, I mean, any one of those territories, though, Texas or California, and you could spend 12 hours on it easily.
Oh,
So
easily.
much there.
Easy. All right, let's bring up Twitter. Holy criminy, what is going on in the world, huh?
Oh man, yeah, it's
Let me guess, it's going to be all football. I already know it. It's going to be all football. Oh, here
Twitter.
we go. Oh,
Wow.
no, this is 6 hours ago. Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has reportedly rejected today the deal presented by Hamas to end the war and return all of the Israeli hostages.
Well, yeah.
With the deal stating that the IDF must withdraw from the Gaza Strip and leave Hamas with its power and authority. Yeah, okay. That ain't happening. That ain't happening.
No.
Okay, let's go. Oh, the Navy called off their search for the Navy SEALs. Kind of a shame.
Yeah, that's crappy when that stuff happens.
Oh, here we go. Here, let me bring this up. This is interesting. I'm sure you guys will know this. Boom, 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 boom. This was when did he post this? I think 9 hours ago. So this is kind of old.
Mhm.
It has now been 24 hours since U.S. forces at Al Assad Air Base in western Iraq was attacked by Iranian-backed groups with rockets and ballistic missiles, crossing at least one red line set by the Biden administration against these groups, causing at least 2 American servicemen to be injured. However, despite this, we have yet to see any kind of response against the groups or the Islamic Revolutionary Guards of Iran who are supporting and aiding these attacks. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into this. So let's start there real quick. Who was this?
Al Assad Air Base.
Yep, I remember Al Assad. I used to send planes out there when I was TDY in Kuwait. A lot of planes had to get diverted from Al Assad to come to Kuwait because they were always under mortar attack.
Yeah.
It played havoc for me. It played havoc for me trying to park all these damn planes when we had no room. It was nuts.
I had friends telling me stories. They'd be on those C-17s coming in there, and next thing you know,
next thing you know, I'm getting freaking radio calls and phone calls from back in this. Literally, I was just a tech sergeant, right? And I'm sitting here talking to colonels back in the States, trying to figure out where we're going to put these planes.
I know that feeling, man. When you talk to the big birds, it's just you.
They were cool as hell, though. They were cool as hell.
Most of them are, yeah. Most of them are. But it still feels weird, though.
Just trying to get the job done.
Just an E5, and you got to answer those guys.
Let's see. Okay. What the hell is this? Vladimir. Vladimir Lenin died on January 21st, 1924, exactly 100 years ago to the day.
Should we celebrate?
Goodness gracious. Oh, I know there's some people celebrating.
But there certainly is.
Oh, there is. Okay. I got to go back to this because this is something that I've been thinking about ever since the last show when we were doing current events.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still bombing the Houthis?
What's going on, man?
Right? It's still going on. Guys, I'm telling you something. I don't like the way this is going down. I think they're going to start escalating. I don't know what it's going to involve. I think. I don't know. But here.
I mean,
here, let's do maps again, right? Everyone loves the maps.
This is going to be interesting, man. Do you have the article from Washington Post?
Oh, I gotta pull that. I think I got that one saved. I don't know which one you're talking about. You're talking about the IAEA?
Well, the one where looks like we're about to go in there. Why they're telegraphing that, I don't know.
Wait, oh no, that no, I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, they're getting ready to go in the Yemen, full boots on the ground and everything.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay,
that
I'll
was
tell you why.
published on the 19th.
Okay. Let's do this here. See how this looks.
So I hope you guys
Oh,
are.
bringing up the maps here. Yeah, we'll talk about the DeSantis thing too. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, right? All this. I think it's more over in this area, right? It was where they're getting hit in this part of the Red Sea, and sometimes out here in the Gulf of Aden, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Wait, wasn't there a badass Call of Duty map that was based on an island off here of Yemen?
I'm pretty sure there was, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The big windmill.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let me see this. Yeah, it might have looked like it's a desert out in the middle of the damn ocean. I don't know if I thought they based it off that. Anyways, let's get back on track. All right, so yeah, here we go. Yemen. We got a whole bunch of Navy people over here doing their thing, right? Blowing the crap out of Yemen. But what's Yemen still doing? I should say, what are the Houthis still doing? They're still attacking ships.
Yeah,
right?
they're doing all the.
They're still attacking ships. Okay.
With
What's
impunity.
This? What's this?
Well,
Taiwan.
that's real China.
Okay. Yeah. You got China over here watching what we're doing over here. If we can't sit here and take care of business with Houthis, how in the hell are we going to do anything over here? Or over here? Or over here?
Well, this is the reason why years ago Japan started building up their own self-defense force. They realized they can't rely on us anymore.
Yes, exactly. So this is the problem with what's going on. If you're going to go in here and take care of business, then take care of it.
100%.
Don't sit here and lob a couple of missiles and allow these people to still, I'm talking about the Houthis, don't allow the Houthis to keep doing this stuff. You can't do that. You got the world watching you, right? If you can't sit there and take care of the Houthis, how in the heck are we supposed to take care of China if they decide they want to invade Taiwan? There's no way. And China sees it. China sees it. They absolutely are watching what's going on. Not only China, Russia's watching what's going on. Any bad actor is watching to see if the United States, with the most powerful navy in the world, can't take care of the Houthis in one strike, maybe a couple of follow-up, but without one strike, you're still creating havoc in the Red Sea. It's a bad look. It's a bad look.
It's like my old wrestling coach used to say, if you're going to fight someone, fight someone. Don't just roll around with them like you're their lover or something.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So what are we going to do in this? I mean, there's so much going on here.
I mean, again, we're not warmongers or nothing, but reality is they are affecting global trade right now.
Yes.
Needs to be answered and accounted for.
Matter of fact, I can't remember what the percentage of shipping goes through. It's like 14 or 20% of world shipping goes through there, something like that.
Right.
That's a huge amount.
They have to be rerouted. All they're having to go from right there, instead of going through Egypt, now they're going all the way around the Cape of Good Hope just to get anywhere now. Yeah,
talking about going this direct all the way around here to come up here just to get over into here.
Yep, and vice versa. It's ridiculous. You'll see that in your pocketbook. It'll start to affect your pocketbook here pretty soon, if it hasn't already.
And you got to watch out for this strait over here as well, because who could block that strait? Yeah, the Chinese Navy. Remember, they're claiming all this. And again, it's all about perception, and not only perception. What are you doing? And it's looking rough. Look, I understand we have our own issues here in the United States, but I'm sorry, world events can dictate what happens here in the United States.
They really can.
And if you become, look, I understand America's heritage has always been isolationist, you know. And look at this. one of the big reasons why we could be isolationist is
Look,
what do we
got-
have on
We
each?
got 2 oceans right there.
Two massive oceans.
Canada
are-
won't do nothing. Mexico ain't
Exactly.
gonna do nothing to us. We're good.
Exactly. Canada, not posing a threat. Well, okay, there is a threat, so to speak. And the threat being this down here,
Well,
southern
yeah,
border.
wide
The
open.
southern border, that could be an issue. That could be a threat because
that is a threat.
yeah, okay, exactly. Because anyone could come into, well, I shouldn't say anyone.
Well,
People could get through the southern border, people from Africa, people from Russia, people from China, you name it. They could come over here either into South America, Central America, or to Mexico and then come across easily at this point in time right now.
Yeah.
That has to be taken care of.
100%,
That
man.
has to be taken care of.
They had a guy in Texas beat to death with firewood by illegal from Kenya the other day.
Well, yeah, see, I mean, well, I shouldn't say wide open,
Yeah,
but they're getting
yeah,
across.
right.
If
They're
you want to
doing
get across, you can get across. You just got to pay some money. It's scary. It's scary. Something has to be done. But when I mean something, I'm not, look, am I saying that putting a wall up is going to be the solution? No. You have to have Congress that's going to do their job, both the House of Representatives and the Senate. You have to have the judicial part do its job in making sure, the laws are good as far as immigration is going. And you got to have the executive that is looking out for the best
Right.
interest of the nation and its population. I don't know, but I'm worried about what's going on in the world. I really am. Don't get me wrong. There's big things happening here in the United States that we have to watch out for. I mean, our damn deficit is what, 30 or yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I remember
We're in
when
debt of what, 34 trillion, somewhere around there. I think it just passed 34 trillion. $34 trillion. Woo.
I like this quote from let's see here, we got Washington Post. Officials say they don't expect operations in Yemen to last years, like Afghanistan. Interesting. Yeah, they're getting ready to go. They're planning to invade from.
Something has to be done.
Right.
Not just to show the rest of the world that, hey, you could take us seriously, but for the simple fact that you're interrupting international maritime passage of goods and services. That cannot be done. Oh, brother.
The timing of the timing of it all is pretty decent too on his part. Well, Biden, go ahead and start something during the election cycle. By all means.
Yep.
Because people will, you know how that works. No, it's getting strange. It's getting weirder by the day, man.
I want to find. Oh gosh, hold on. Let me go to here. Actually, yeah, I got to go here on my likes. Where the hell was it?
See if I can find something on Pakistan real quick.
Oh, is this the one? This is back on January 20th. Biden administration has reportedly now agreed with U.S. defense officials of a need of a large-scale sustained military operation against the Houthi terrorist group in western Yemen.
Yep.
Following 10 days of missile and airstrike, which have failed to end the Houthis' attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Officials have stated they do not expect for the operation to drag on for years, like previous wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But they will not have an end date set for the operation. That's smart. Oh, that's the Washington Post one, yeah.
Oh yeah, don't go out there on a don't go out there on a ship and have mission accomplished behind you. Don't do one of those again.
Let's see where we at.
Remember that?
Wait, what was that again?
Remember when George Bush went out there and had that mission accomplished?
Oh, on the air, and he landed on an aircraft carrier. Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Where was this that I wanted to see?
20 years later.
Oh yeah, supposedly we knocked off a high-level Houthi and a Iranian official in Yemen, right?
Yeah, we did. And good timing too, because I believe it was either today or yesterday. They held a big old military parade in Yemen. I was like, hey, now's a good time to bomb these guys, if anything.
Oh, please don't tell me I got to be a member of this.
Oh, the Washington Post. Yeah.
No, it's Bloomberg.
Oh,
how do I do this?
Isn't there a way to do that on an iPhone? You just put it into
Oh, I know there's a way to do a phone where you just do the reader.
Reader, yeah, on iPhone.
How do you do it on a damn? You can't do it on a computer, can you?
It might be. Oh man.
Hey, where are you, senior? You helped me out with that last time with the reader on the cell phone. Damn it.
Might be able. Can you download? Oh, can you print it as a PDF?
You know what? Let me see. Print, and then I can read it off as a PDF.
Might be able
to... continue reading with the options below. You
SOB, man. They know.
Mother.
They know. Oh, Bloomberg.
Cancel.
F Bloomberg. They have enough money anyway. It should be free, man. Jeez.
Okay. That's okay. Let me just here. Whatever. I'll just show the stupid ass byline. Come on. There we go. I don't like this right here. Look at this crap.
Yeah,
look at this big ass thing.
Oh my god, that's freaking ridiculous. That's
Iran
egregious.
frustrates nuclear monitors as its uranium stockpile grows.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
The IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi, I don't know how you would say it, speaks in Davos. Tehran could build several nuclear warheads with stockpile.
Now,
I'm telling you, if there's anything that's going to make you nervous out there, that should make you pretty damn nervous, to be honest. That needs to make.
This makes. Where's our intel been at this whole time here?
They want to track you.
I mean, how do?
This is scary. This again here now. Try to make sense this. Try to make sense out of this. So we're trying to negotiate prior to Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7th. The Biden administration were trying to do their best to try to negotiate with Iran, right? Mm. Is Iran doing what they're supposed to be doing? Have they ever been doing what they said they're doing? Or have they ever said, or have they ever followed the rules where they weren't supposed to develop a nuclear weapon?
It's like leaving a toddler alone with a bunch of candy. You say, you don't eat one, you walk away.
But you want to negotiate with these guys. And I don't understand it. Remember when I said, I don't know if you guys were with me on the show. I said this, about a week or two ago? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago? I said, what is the reason why? This is before we started attacking the Houthis. Okay, we started, now it's been a 10-day operation. So it's been about 2 weeks. And I said, why are we not attacking the Houthis? And remember, I put out the idea, maybe they're afraid of attacking the Houthis because maybe they thought Iran had nuclear weapons. Maybe this is part of it. I don't know. But they wind up starting attacking the Houthis. So I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's an agreement. Hey, we're just going to hit the Houthis, but we're not going to hit you. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. Kind of scary.
I find it interesting. Israel's always said that anytime they feel like Iran's going to have nuclear capabilities, that they're going to attack first.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see what their response is, if they respond at all. Come
on. Look, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. If you have any inkling whatsoever that you think Iran is going to follow any type of agreement where they can't pursue nuclear weapons, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. I really can't, because there is no way that people like them are going to, and when I mean by them, I'm talking about the way their mentality, their thought process, they're extremists. You don't negotiate with that.
Right.
Because yeah, sure, they'll sit there and say, yeah, sure, we agree. Yeah, give us a couple of $1 billion. Yeah, we'll agree. But behind closed doors, what are they doing?
It's just like
Yeah,
negotiating
they're
with North
developing.
Korea. They're still so fanatical. There's no negotiating. They're going to do what they want to do.
They're going to do what they want to do. No, do you have to keep the door open for negotiation? Absolutely.
100%.
But what is that? What is it? What is it that Ronald Reagan said? It had to do with reducing the nuclear stockpiles with the Soviet Union. Something with verification.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. Exactly. That's what you have to do, right? Because unfortunately, it's not like in olden days where, I could give you a handshake and the deal's square, right? That's a square deal. You give someone your hand and you shake on it. That was your bond. That meant something. It's not like that in the world anymore. Then again, in geopolitical struggles, I don't think that ever really has. To an extent, I guess there is, because there is still that. What's the word am I looking for? You still want to be honorable in a certain right. And there was, and if you look at back some of the old wars that were happening in Europe, there was a lot of quote unquote honor that would take place on the battlefield or in negotiations. There really wasn't any underhanded disaster or dastardly type of plans. It was on the up and up. I know we're talking about war, but yeah, it was on the up and up. It's very strange how that panned out, but that's just the way it was. In this day and age, man, trust but verify. That's exactly what it's come down to. Yeah, I knew it had something to do with that. That's what Reagan was famous for. And here's another thing, man. Now we could get into a little bit of what's going on with the presidential race. So now it's down for the Republicans, Nikki Haley and Donald Trump. I think we all know where that's going to go.
Well,
I think we all know where that's going to go.
Would have it gone anywhere else otherwise?
Trump had a sure Ted. He brought all the South Carolina freaking politicians up to New Hampshire. Not a good look for good old former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley.
No, and she got, I believe, was it Friday? Yeah, I think it was Friday. They dug a bunch of dirt up on her, man. She
everybody has dirt.
Pulling up her history. I guess she's like a serial cheater on her husband.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's not go down that path because because we got Donald Trump. The guy isn't exactly full of character, if you know what I mean.
The guy does what he does.
And what happened? What happened to the days of just having someone that had some character, some, I don't know, someone who's maybe well read, someone who's,
But someone who's not a career politician, someone who didn't grow up, that is not a hedge fund baby or
something. We had men like
a man of the people.
For example, even you had Thomas Jefferson, you had James Madison, you had Abraham Lincoln, you had even Taft, you had both Roosevelts. What happened to guys at that level? Those are big hitters, right? Those guys are big hitters. Now look at what we're dealt with. How have we just? Are we supposed to get better? Isn't it supposed to get better? It feels like we're getting.
Oh man,
more dumb.
You watched a movie called Idiocracy. It's more like a documentary than anything else.
It's just Thank you, Benji. A bunch of lightweights. That's exactly
for real.
The heavyweights are off the table. We are dealt with lightweights.
We don't have guys like Eisenhower anymore. We don't have guys like Kennedy.
Right. Even Eisenhower, you could even say Johnson, even though he kind of I think agree with the whole Great Society thing. But even Nixon.
Nixon, yeah, he had some spine to him.
What he resigned from the presidency for is something that happens every day now. You know what I'm saying?
They're doing every day. Yeah, they're finding. They're finding classified materials everywhere.
Spying on your opponent. I mean, come on. You knew that. That's probably been happening since time began, right?
Kind of immemorial. I mean, yeah.
But it's just, and now we got people like, I'm sorry. Look who's running for president. Look.
Makes you laugh, doesn't it? I mean,
don't get me wrong. Some of these people probably have some great ideas, but they don't hold water to the guys that we had previously.
I mean, look at the resumes of all those guys we just mentioned. I mean, one of the key factors each and one of them have, for the most part, is they have a military background.
Yes, they did. That is a big factor. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I think the only one, maybe not Franklin, because of his
right, his
health. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But even Lincoln, he was in the militia.
Right. Yeah.
Jefferson, not so much, but he was in France during the time. Steve Austin said DTA.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
It really makes it hard, to be honest with you. It really makes it hard to just, because you just can't, on face value, just be able to believe anyone. Yeah, which, I mean, you shouldn't. You should do research, but it's pretty bad. It's just,
that's just thinking about it. If you took one of those guys' resume, say an Eisenhower or even Kennedy, compare that resume to, I don't know, Nikki Haley.
I like that, Benji. What? Yeah, that was great. I love that that skit, or that role play that Steve Austin, when he was playing a little bit mentally gone. But yeah, Jesse Ventura.
All the conspiracy dude.
Jesse the Bot. That guy actually had a great speaking voice during wrestling. When he narrated wrestling with, remember Gorilla Monsoon?
Oh.
Him and Ventura were awesome on wrestling calls. Loved it. That was
slack shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about Predator, yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. They're buried in like a bunch of Alabama ticks. Yeah.
He's a good showman, man.
He was, man. Gosh, those are, like I said, those are the glory days of wrestling. But anyway, I don't understand why.
I'm thinking about right now, like, how do you go from somebody who's got a resume like Eisenhower's or Kennedy to what we have now? Like, the only thing you have highlighted for bullet points is, I'm a career politician. Meanwhile, these guys, hey, I served in the military.
Right.
I came in as an 01. I came out as an 010. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, and I won this battle. I was Supreme Commander. I mean, all that crap. I mean, now, that's not crap by any means, but.
No, I know what you mean.
But you mean like all of that versus someone like, hell, even Donald Trump. I mean, his biggest accomplishment is, setting an empire that, your daddy gave you $3 million. And you go on TV and you said, yeah, he only gave me $3 million. Only?
Come on.
Excuse me?
Come on.
I mean, come on.
And let's keep it real here, and that's what I like to try to do is look, I understand there's a lot of excitement for Trump. Again, it's kind of the anti-establishment type of movement. That's what it is. I understand.
He's the rebel. He's the rebel.
Correct. And I think so. I think it really did. Honestly, that's a good point, Mark. Did the conflict in Vietnam change people's view of politicians? I think so.
Yeah.
I think that they lost some of their luster because of what, not necessarily, well, I guess you could say it happened during that time, but even after the fact, I think it really started affecting as well.
Right.
I don't understand. You're going back to Trump, but even DeSantis, yeah, he may have some great ideas, but it just doesn't seem like he had to be president of the United States of America. We're talking about the most powerful nation in the world, where you're going to have to deal with things that are something you'll never have to. It's an experience that you have never experienced or ever will experience again, right?
Right.
So wouldn't you want to have the most qualified person at that position?
You know,
And I just don't think at this time, I just don't think he's quite there yet. Nikki Haley, I think the same thing. I mean, I kind of like what she says as far as foreign affairs, and that type of stuff. I understand. I agree with some of what she has to say there. But again, is she up to the challenge? I don't know. I don't think so. Vivek, not a chance. Not a chance. The guy was a blowhard. Blowhard.
Right. What's interesting is that Trump said that he's going to be working with us for a long time.
Who?
Vivek.
I wonder what he's going to make him.
Yeah, that's
all these guys are probably getting all the. Yes, he was 100%. What Benji said, he's an ass kisser, 100%.
He's a big smoocher.
All the people who are bowing out are doing it for political favor. Let's not freaking.
They are right.
Let's not beat around the bushes here.
Do you think DeSantis would really quit the race right now if he wasn't offered something? If he wasn't
guaranteed a job somewhere, come on, man.
Oh yeah, he got offered something for sure.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's just the Ronnie will get the VP. Who's Ronnie? Oh, DeSantis. Got it. He might be.
Yeah, probably that's why he got out of the race.
I don't know where Vivek. Don't make him Secretary of State.
Don't make him Secretary of anything. Crap.
No, he doesn't need to be in government.
What's up, Shardo?
What's up, Shardo? Oh yeah, he's in there. What's up, Shardo? Who else was in there? Tim Scott. I kind of like what he was. I kind of liked his message, but he fell out quick. Chris Christie, not a chance. Yeah, he did. He was like one of the first one to pop out.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah, if Trump becomes president, Ronnie will be humiliated. I can't even say that. Humiliated every day, whatever. Best I could do. Chardal says DeSantis is a jerk. Can't answer to that because I've never met him. Tim Scott, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is a career politician. I have to give you that.
Yeah,
I have to give you that.
Because would like to see less of that.
Because the problem is people get. Oh, I'm not gonna. It never used to be where you went into government to make money. You went into it for public service. You're there for us. You're there for public service. It's not there to it's not there to increase your bank account. It's not there to get your power trip going. You're there for one reason. You're there for the public service.
It's like joining the military. You don't join the military to go get rich.
No.
Hell no.
No.
You do it for a service. You do it. I mean, everybody has their own reasons for doing it. And I think a lot of people have their own reasons for getting to politics too. Right. But right now, as it stands, you go into politics, you come out there wealthy. You get a pension for life. You get all these free medical benefits. I mean, holy smokes,
and if I'm not mistaken, you don't pay into Social Security when you're in Congress either, right?
No, you don't.
Right.
I mean, all of that is money coming to you from the taxpayer.
And how often do you work before you go on break?
Right, and they do.
When's the last time they signed a budget? When's the last time they signed a budget? Everything's been a CRO. Everything's been a CRO. I don't think we've signed a budget in a decade?
No, yeah, you're right. The can gets kicked down the road every time. We'll do it. When we reconvene, we'll come back and approach the matter again. Oh yeah, okay.
Exactly. They kick the can down the road constantly. Do your damn job, people.
And the moment you say anything about it, they just attack you. That's all politicians do now. They attack their own citizenry. Well, you guys don't know any better. You have to be in our shoes to know. Excuse me. That's not how this works here.
It's on a bigger. I'm not even talking about specific people. I'm just talking about in general.
On a whole. Not only that, but it used to be, politicians back in the day realized they worked for the people. Now it's the other way around. They think that you work for them. How dare you just to pee on? It's.
Mm-hmm. And it's just whatever.
It's maddening. It's maddening.
It is. Here, let's see what else. Ooh, what's going on? Wait, that's old.
Oh man, Senior brought up our favorite person, old Newsom. Oh, Newsom.
Who knows what the hell's going to happen with that?
I think that guy's too freaky for his own party.
Nothing will surprise me. Not at all.
That's true, though. That is true, though. This commander for the Houthis makes me laugh every time I see his picture. He reminds me of like a younger Baghdad Bob. He's about to be a Baghdad Bob, by the way.
What is this?
Well, I don't know. That's cool, Charlotte, but I mean, like, I'm part Japanese. I wouldn't vote for somebody for being part Japanese because I'm part of that too.
Wow, Gabe Kepler gave me some advice on walking faster.
Yeah. That was interesting. Yeah, it looked like he was wearing a man purse as well.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's wearing the other day he had the Miami Dolphins. Now it's the Miami Heat.
He's showing off his chest. Look at me, guys. He's ready for the runaway, man. Good Lord. That guy is a trip. Now, he must live in his own head, huh?
Holy crap. Historic vids. Boy asks the Prince of Saudi Arabia for a Mercedes, and this happens. He got a damn Mercedes. Must be nice.
You know what's cool is watching those old videos of the ball players around a bunch of kids and stuff. If you watch that, the baseball documentary, where Babe Ruth's sitting there, he's got a bunch of kids around him. They're just talking to him like it's all casual, and they ask for an autograph, and he gives it to them. And he shakes their hand. Or even better, Willie Mays out there playing with the kids, playing stickball with the kids before games.
Yep.
That's what heroes do, man. I don't know if we have any more heroes these days. Hey, what's up, Arrow?
What's up in there? Hey, what's up, Arrow? How's it going, man? Oh, let's see where we're going to go here. Just taking a gander through Twitter. See what we got out here.
Oh, yeah, we're at 109 subs now. Holy smoke, man.
Hey, how about that? We're getting there.
Yeah. Slowly but surely.
What in the hell is all this?
Camera set up here pretty soon. Once I move.
What a dumbass! Okay, hold on. Oh, brother. Oh. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah. Dan posted that in our little group chat.
Oh, did he? This one?
Yeah. The guy. Yeah. He forgets to stop dropping. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah,
sure. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I got some lighter fluid on there that some of it probably hasn't fully evaporated or burnt off.
Now my ass is on fire.
My ass is on fire.
He's just dancing around smacking. Oh my gosh!
Oh man, you know what that is? It's not even his clothes. It's the lighter fluid that's burning.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it burns hot. It burns quick.
My ass is on fire. Oh, imagine if he farted.
Oh man, probably did. Probably added to it. It's probably hard to get out there.
Believe, man.
No stop, drop, and roll, huh? You don't teach that anymore.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. That's been going on for a while.
Yeah, civil war in Ethiopia. Yep.
Yeah, there's man. I tell you what, Africa. We think the Middle East is bad. Africa, holy! I mean, the good thing about Africa is nobody's got nukes that I know of. But I mean, hell, they are in constant war with each other over the tribes, governments, political parties. It's a freaking mess. I had a friend that wanted to go to Africa. I was like, have fun, bro. You will not catch me in Africa anytime soon. Holy crap.
Come on, what do we got here?
No, thank you, man. I ain't trying to get beheaded, man. Yeah, it is the Wild West out there. That's for damn sure. Sudan. Yep. Ooh, there's some really wild parts there. Oh, there used to be back in the early 2000s. There was a pretty cool show called Doctor Danger with Bob Arnott, and he would go through Africa, all these little areas where a bunch of strife is. Man, there were several times where on camera you almost got kidnapped. I mean,
You know what? Let me see if this guy's still out there. There's a guy that's.
that's a brave soul, Arrow, man. Man,
Let me
I don't know if
see.
I
I forgot about this guy.
wonder if Doctor Danger's still out there on the. You can watch Doctor Danger.
Where is it?
Where can I watch Doctor Danger? Oh, it's on Amazon. Everything's on Amazon, huh?
Let me see. Now he's. Interesting.
I'm gonna have to download the series again and watch it. It's pretty good.
All right, let's.
Sabbatical Tommy. Let me check this guy out real quick.
Wait, what is this?
I know there was another. I don't. Arrow, do you remember there was another YouTuber down there that I think he got captured? I think it was a Chinese guy or something. I know it was an Asian dude that got captured down there. What's up?
I can't hear you. Hold on, I'm listening to something.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to watch some of these vids, Arrow. I was forced into polygamy in rural Tanzania.
All right.
What? We escaped from a village of cannibals. Holy shit!
All right, here we
Okay.
go.
Subscribe.
Here we go. Here's a hype video for war. Here we go. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
All right.
Oh shit!
Here we go. Hype video for war.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your
What the? Oh no! God.
There you go. I love it. Gentlemen, start your engines. And then, lo and behold, there goes the missiles.
Man, yeah, Tom. I hope they serve beer over there because you're gonna need it to watch one of those games.
What's up?
He's talking about the A's moving to Salt Lake City.
Oh, whatever.
Holy
What's up,
smokes,
Kyle? I haven't
man.
seen you in a while. What's up?
Yeah, so they passed on the old
The Sacramento thing?
Sutter Park. Yeah, man. Makes sense to me. I mean, that's definitely a AAA ballpark for sure. They had fan day the other day too. Yeah, yesterday.
Whatever.
Blake Sables. This team's got a lot of positivity. I don't know. We're gonna say it in June.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, did you see Ukraine? The Ukrainians are launching drones against the freaking Baltic seaports.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, I'm not sure if they did officially senior, but it looks like they're going to play in Salt Lake, or where their minor league team plays down there. That'd be weird, man. The A's in freaking Utah. I guess stranger things have happened.
That's
The Salt
what
Lake
the hell is
Athletics. Oh yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. Definitely. Louisiana Purchase, definitely one of the greatest real estate deals.
Okay, here. You're going to love this one.
Sure as hell did, Kyle.
These adversaries, man, you got to watch out. You know, remember, the rest of the world is watching, ladies and gentlemen. The rest of the world is watching.
There it is. That's what I was talking about.
الزوارق
They're
البحرية
attacking us with cigarette bullets.
لأول مرة في تاريخ العسكرية اليمنية وتاريخ الجيش اليمني يجري الاهتمام بالقوات البحرية وصولا إلى إنتاج
This is what we can't beat?
بهذه
Come on,
القوات
really?
تقترب بهذه الأثناء من
It's built
المناطق
out of Legos?
من الأسلحة الخاصة بالقوات البحرية من الزوارق والصواريخ
What is
ما يتم
Look at
الإعلان
that.
عنها اليوم ولأول مرة نبدأ
Oh
الآن
my
بالزوارق
god. Oh my god. It's like
البحرية
a truck from the
والبداية
80s,
بزورق
bro.
نذير وهو زورق قتالي محلي الصنع من أسرع الزوارق وله قدرة
Got
على
a couple of pickup
المداورة
trucks.
ويحمل
couple of
أسلحة
Chevy S10s.
متوسطة ودفاع جوي ويتكون من 6
But we can't.
وله
They keep
مهام
launching missiles. How does that
قتالية
happen?
متعددة الأغراض وكذلك الآن يمر من أمام المنصة زوارق وعاصف
Exactly.
واحد
Shadow.
وعاصف
Exactly.
ثلاثة وعاصف اثنين والتي تحمل راجمة 107
There you go.
وكذلك عيار 23 وكذلك الآن يمر
What else?
زورق ملاح
Sir,
وهو
mighty
يحمل
navy.
Come
سلاح
on, is there what else they got in here?
وكذلك ستمر
Oh
في هذه
God.
الأثناء
Look at these clowns.
زوارق طوفان بأجيالها الثلاثة طوفان واحد وطوفان اثنين وطوفان ثلاثة
We're fast forwarding it. There we go. Come on.
Oh yeah. Who knows? Sure.
Does this
All
get
right,
you
that's
pumped up to
cool.
join the Yemeni or the Houthis?
Yeah, man. Wow.
هذه
I want to
نماذج
ride one of those boats.
مما
hell's
تصنعه
that?
الأيادي
What in
اليمنية
the frick?
والقدرات
that?
اليمنية
What the hell?
ومنها
Are those
ثاقب
What is
hostages?
that?
وكرار
Oh,
Mines?
ومجاهد
those are sea
واحد
mines. Yeah.
ومجاهد اثنين هذا
Okay,
اللون
we got mines. Now what do we got here?
الآن يمر
Oh shit.
Propane
ثاقب
bombs.
يليه
Those are
كرار
mines.
وكذلك جربت وكان لها مفعولا يمر من أمام
More
المنصة
More mines.
All right. Well, what else we got here?
الصناعات
Oh,
العسكرية
here we go.
للقوات المسلحة اليمنية من
Oh.
إنتاج صواريخ
There we
بحرية
go. These are
متطورة
the cruise missiles.
تلبي جزءا من المتطلبات الدفاعية للقوات البحرية وسوف تبدأ الآن مجموعة من الصواريخ بالمرور من أمام
Oh, those are Iranian missiles right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
40 كيلو متر ووزن الرأس المتفجر وهو صاروخ ووزن الرأس الحربي 100
More missiles.
ويزن الرأس المتفجر الآن من أمام المنصة وهو
Cruise
كروز
missiles.
مجنح يصل مداه إلى 800 كيلو شافوا يمكن
Man.
إطلاقه من أي نقطة
That's like watching Team America World Police, man.
That was pretty bad.
That's freaking hilarious.
That we can't beat that. That's what I'm saying. Come on.
Some dudes in freaking Isuzu trucks from the 80s.
Jeez.
Holy hell, man.
That's pretty good though, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing.
Hey, you got to
That's-
be able to see what your enemy has, right?
Yeah, we sure as hell do. Christ. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, Charlotte. It's not too bad.
They're like well, the bad guys of Waterworld.
Oh yeah, I think the reason why In-N-Out Burger is trending, Benji, is because they're closing their stores in Oakland.
Are they?
Yep, because of
Too much
crime.
crime.
Too much crime.
That happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not the first stores to leave. I mean, hell, Safeway's closed up, Walgreens closed up, CVS closed doors, San Francisco. You know, whatever. In-N-Out Burger's overrated. Snow White Drive-In is better. I think they only have them here. I think they only have them in Modesto. I don't know. They got one in Lodi. They got one down the road over here too. Yeah, well, it was Turtle. It was hilarious. So silly. I mean, we're letting those people bulldog us around. And it's not just us that they're bulldogging.
All right.
You know.
Nothing really going on. All right. Anyone got any questions out there before we shut this damn thing down? You could either be, let's talk either Mexican-American War of 1846 to 1848 or whatever else. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, keep it going if you want.
Yep. See if anyone has questions. I know Shortall wants to join. Well, technically, I am a historian. After getting a master's in history, I'm technically a historian. I try not to be braggadocious about it or anything like that. Just it is what it is. Thanks, Benji. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude.
Oakland sounds like a great. Oh, man.
Yeah. I watched this YouTuber who's got a trucking company outside of Fresno, just south of Fresno, and every time he stops in Oakland, he dreads spending the night there on the side of the road. It's hilarious. He's had people try to break in his truck while he's sleeping in it and everything.
They don't care.
I don't give a flying rap. Nope. Top 5 events in military. Ooh, that's a little broad.
Yeah, that's a lot because there's so many. Goodness gracious. I mean, you know what I kind of like? What the Second Pyrrhic War, when what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Hannibal marched across the Alps with elephants.
Yeah, that was bad.
He almost. I mean, he did. I mean, he invaded Italy.
No, he did.
But then he met his end at what do you call it? What the hell was the name of that battle? It was close though. It was close. You can't forget Alexander the Great. My God, the guy freaking was a.
Oh man, he conquered the known world.
What is so impressive is the age that he did it in.
Right, he was.
The guy was so far ahead in military thinking. It was just incredible. How did he do that? I don't know. He was gifted with some type of ability to be able to read a battlefield, to be able to execute. Not only that, because at that time you're so far separated. I mean, it's not like the communication you have now. Say you're a commander, you could be able to reach out everybody.
Right.
Everybody, right? Down to the damn near platoon. And that day, no, you didn't have communication with the guy that may be a mile down on your left flank or right flank. Yeah, no, there was no way. You just had to trust in your men, trust in your commanders to be able to get the job done. So, yeah. Alexander of Macedon was incredible.
I think right now, Tom, the border, I know in Texas, they're still fighting their own government over there.
Look at Dan. I like that. Top 5 current militaries by strength. I will probably, number 1, United States. Number 2, China. Number 3, I'm going off the top of my head. It might.
Russia.
Yeah, it's still going to be Russia. They've been getting decimated, though. Did you hear what the approximate KIAs are over there in that Ukraine war just in 2 years? They're talking like maybe 300,000 KIA.
Well, think about it, too.
Incredible.
The average age of a Ukrainian soldier right now is 40 years old. So that's saying they're getting.
Yeah, they're starting to scrape the barrel. I know. If it comes to a war of attrition, it's going to be Russia. But yeah, number 3 would probably be Russia. Number 4, I'm thinking India.
India or North Korea.
I'm going to go by strength. See, strength can be taken so many different ways. Britain, I don't know if they're up there. I'll have to, you know what? Let's take a gander at Google.
Yeah.
See what they say. I'm just going off the top of my head. I think, who was I going to say? Poland is getting up there. I don't know if they're going to be the strong, but they are getting up there.
How would you solve the homeless issue? I think we need to bring back mental asylums, Tom.
Yeah, and
that would definitely
that
help.
Needs to be addressed. The mental health of some of these people. I was trying to say something. All of these people has to be addressed.
Right. Exactly. I don't think there's a single person out there on the street that's really, truly mentally sound, to be honest. The ones who are, they're not out there in the streets.
Oh, look at that. We are almost there, man. How about that?
What's that?
According to USA Today, number 1, United States. 2 is Russia. Wow. But 3 was China. 4 was India.
Okay.
5 is Japan.
Hey, now.
Then South Korea. I didn't even think about that. South Korea.
South Korea, yeah.
France, then the United Kingdom. United Kingdom is behind France.
They can't feel too good for them, huh?
You know what number 9 is? Wait a second. What is this? Hold on. Oh, that's top 10 based on active personnel. I'm not going to go by active because that's just manpower.
Oh, that's an easy one, yeah. You need to incorporate all the technology and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think if you did that, I'm pretty sure China would probably be number 2. Usually aircraft carriers are pretty good benchmark.
Interesting. So we were close. We were out of order a little bit, but that's according to USA Today, though.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, Iraq had the 4th largest army in the world. We steamrolled them.
Yeah, well, we ran right over them.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Because it's more, like you said, it's more than just manpower. Don't get me wrong. Manpower does play a certain role. But in today's technology, it's not so much as manpower as it is the technology that you employ. You're seeing it, right? You're like I think I said this before. The Russian-Ukraine war. That is basically a laboratory of the new technologies that are coming online now, with the drones. That is huge.
Yeah, now I wonder what our response. I wonder if they teach that in basic training how to avoid drones.
I think they're creating drone anti-drone. Basically, it's EW stuff, electronic warfare.
Oh, that's right. They have those. They look like guns. They almost look like an AT-4. You put over your shoulder and you point them at the drone and it knocks them out of the air.
Oh, look at Dan. How about top 5 militaries in terms of discipline or threat? 5 years.
Well, my feeling on that one, Dan. I'm not a huge fan of our current state.
Yeah, but I think we're still the best.
Oh, of course yeah. We are. But,
so we're still at the top of that. Granted, this happens though. Look what happened during Vietnam. Yeah, it's cyclical. In Vietnam and just after the 70s, the military was a shambles, man. There was no respect, and no one respected him.
And then later on, you had Jimmy Carter come in and just completely gut it to nothing.
Yep. So but within discipline, it was bad. We're talking about discipline.
Oh yeah, you're sitting there smoking weed out of a shotgun in the middle of the field, drinking beer before you go on patrol.
Yeah, it was bad.
Right on.
We're not at that level right now, but you got to be careful. Got to keep your eye on the ball. That's why you got to have people who know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's some common sense that gets put in common sense. Yeah, if it was so common, it would be common sense, right?
Oh man.
Let's see. Number 2. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Militaries of discipline and threats in 5 years. China. Now their economic situation is taking a hit, which is good in a way because so much of their budget is based on the military. Not so much, but a lot of their budget is based on the military. So if they're taking a hit economically, maybe their quests kind of get dampened a little bit. So we'll see. I will definitely say though, U.S., China, who would be like I said, I'm gonna say Poland because I've seen a lot of stuff where Poland is really beefing up their military. I can't blame them. Look what their share a border with Russia. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the discipline or the threat of India because they got a pretty damn big military, both Air Force and Army and Navy.
I tell you what,
So
those
they're
Sikh
up there.
troops are pretty solid, though. Those
Who?
guys are pretty solid. The Sikhs.
Oh, the Sikh. They fought valiantly in World War II for the British in North Africa, and they also fought in World War I, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
They had a lot of Sikhs.
Ooh, there's another troop that fights for Britain. The Gurkhas.
The Gurkhas. Yep.
They're a bunch of badasses, those guys.
They're a bunch of badasses. If you think about it, look at some of the wars that happened in India. India devastates foreign invaders.
One
Devastation.
Gurkha wiped, he was all on his own in the middle of an outpost. He wiped out over 37 insurgents. They were throwing grenades at him. He was wounded multiple times. I think he got like the Victoria Cross or something like that for his actions.
Wow.
But in terms of discipline,
Go ahead.
You
know what's fantastic? You read about some of the Indian history, the military history, how they utilized elephants. Oh, incredible. I mean, think about it. These war elephants were no joke. They were no joke. And
no,
then
they put those big sword things on the tusk of the elephant.
A whole bunch of things. Yeah, they is incredible. Pakistan is no joke either. They got nuclear weapons. They got nuclear weapons. So you gotta acknowledge that. I don't. As far as a fighting force, though, I'm talking like non-nuclear. Not so much. Matter of fact, when I was in the Air Force, I was going to a quality assurance class. When I was when I was stationed at Travis, we have in a maintenance group, you have quality assurance. Basically, you make sure all the people on the flight line are doing what they're supposed to be doing per guidance. Like we call them technical orders. I think you guys call them or you call them technical manuals, right? TMs.
FMs.
FM field manuals. That's right. You guys call them FMs. We call them TOs. And then all the other different policies that you have in play. So we're just making sure that, they're supposed to do what they're doing. And we do accident investigations if anything happens with an aircraft or anything associated with the aircraft. But I had to go to school for that. We had a Pakistani lieutenant colonel in our class. He was an actual pilot, but he was going to run their quality assurance for the Air Force. It's fantastic. The guy was smart as hell, dude. Guy was smart as hell.
Yeah, in terms of discipline, I was thinking back. I always liked working with the Aussie soldiers. The Australians were pretty damn. They had pretty good discipline within their ranks. The only ones I didn't really care for.
I'm trying to think of who else.
I didn't really care for the Germans at all, man. They rubbed me the wrong freaking way.
I've worked with Germans.
They were strange,
some of them are,
man.
They're very full of themselves. But the Germans I did work with, fantastic. One other guy, man, he was an equivalent to a tech sergeant. Really nice guy.
This one time I was sitting in my shelter, I had all my equipment on, we were doing communication stuff, and I get a knock on my door. I open it up, and there's 4 colonels standing there. I'm like, oh, wonderful. And 3 of them were Germans, and there was my battalion commander right next to him. I guess he was showing them around. And so the full bird of the Germans came into my shelter, and he goes, "Oh, you guys eating here?" Yeah, we practically live in this thing. Oh, we don't do that in Germany. Okay, well,
there's another thing that the Germans
do.
Sticklers for following rules and regulations. There's no deviation. You follow it to the damn T. I mean, it's no joke. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
I can see that.
Yep.
I can see that.
Very interesting. And very, they have their cultural things, One thing I had to do, one thing I learned really quick when I worked in NATO, and I had listen to this. I was a E6 while I was in Germany. I was a boss of two Italian chiefs, E9s. I'm an E6, and I'm in charge of 2 Italian E9s. and then a bunch of German E6, and a bunch of civilians who are old enough to be my dad. Oh, because they've been there forever. They're civilians. There was Germans, Dutch, Belgian, Spanish, and Turkish civilians. But there's one thing: if you when you're in the military, you could go into a or you go into your work center, airman so and or sergeant, whatever rank they may be. Hey, I need you to do this. You do this. You do this, and it gets done. With NATO civilians, you had to sit down, have a coffee, ask how they're doing. It's you had to be. I don't even. It was just weird. You know what I'm saying? You just had to sit down and have a conversation with them. All right. I had a guy, his name is Gunter. It's like, Gunter, all right, this is what I need you to do today. If you could take care of that, I appreciate it. Sure. Eddie. Then they're cool. But if you started getting like kind of where you're directing, they turn off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had the same experience with Gendyne techs.
Yeah. See? Yeah. Civilians are a whole different monster.
Same thing.
Not only that, when they're civilian from another country, it's even worse, man. Because they see Americans come in, they rotate every 3 years. So they know they're coming in. We're coming in here for a certain amount of time. You know what I'm saying? They just have to wait it out. Yeah. They still do their thing. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, they could get away with it because you can't kick their ass like you can an airman.
No, you can't. You can't. You didn't physically, but I know exactly what you mean.
No, you don't physically kick their ass. You
never heard of warrior elephants? Oh man, dude.
Oh,
read up on some of it. Indians are famous for that.
I believe they're
famous.
You guys ever watched that thing Forged in Fire on History Channel? I believe in one of those episodes they had to go and recreate one of the swords they put. Literally a big sword that they attached to the tusk of the elephants. Massive.
Yep.
Things are cool, man. They would run those things around. That's where it's amazing how well trained that they had those elephants, man.
Oh, they were very well trained.
And let's not forget the word Mongol comes from Mughal.
Comes from where?
Mughal. Or is it the other way around? The Mughal Empire of India.
I'm not sure.
Is it the other way around? Damn, I might be wrong about this.
I'm not sure on that.
One of those guys is named one of those empires was named after the other because out of respect.
Gotcha.
Okay, now I gotta go Google this crap now.
All right, guys. Man, we've been going 2 hours and 11, so let's go ahead and get ready to shut this down. It was a good episode, though.
Okay, so it was the other way around. The Mughal Empire, they
formed
out of honor
of the Mongols.
Right.
Mongols, man. That's another thing we could talk about. I don't know a whole lot, but I could do some reading on it. Those guys, damn, they ran near all of Eurasia.
Oh my god.
Damn near.
Geez, I mean there's only one country they could never really invade and take over, though. That was Japan.
Yeah, they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't do nothing with Vietnam either. Remember that?
Yeah, Vietnam kicked their ass. Yeah, I remember that. We watched the same video.
Yeah, that was incredible. I was surprised. I think didn't they eventually? Maybe they didn't. I can't remember. Different tactics.
I know the Chinese eventually conquered the Vietnamese, but
yep. But I mean, that's a lot of Chinese heritage is based off of Mongol type of history. Oh, nice. I gave Faith activated charcoal capsules tonight, and it worked. It must have bound all that stuff up, binds it up, and gets rid of it instead of excreting it.
I'll have to tell my dad that trick so he could get it to my mom.
Oh, look at this. That's the California Motorcycle Gang War, the Mongols versus the Hills Angels.
Yeah. Pretty good documentary out there, too, of a guy who infiltrated, I believe it was the Mongols, right?
I'm not sure.
DEA agent.
I'm not big on organized crime history. That's not my forte.
I'm all over the place, man. I'm like an encyclopedia of useless knowledge.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I know a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah, I'm not very familiar with organized crime. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys joining on this Sunday night.
Yeah, man.
Talk some Mexican-American War. They got into some current event
was
stuff.
cool.
What's going on?
That
A
was
little bit
cool.
on what's going on with aircraft missiles. I don't know where that's coming from. But yeah, next episode maybe midweek sometime again. That's kind of what I've been doing, like weekends and midweek type of stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely not next Sunday though. That's gonna be huge.
Oh yeah.
You got the
it is,
AFC Championship and you got the NFC Championship, both on the same day. What is that? What do they call that? Super Sunday, right? No, that's Super Bowl. Championship Sunday, right?
You have to wear the same outfit.
Yep.
No.
So yeah. Again, thanks for joining. Again, like I said, it'll be up in the air as far as if I have a specific topic or if it's just current events. A lot of stuff's going on. Something may be kicking off with further involvement of us in Yemen. So we'll see what happens. Just keep your ears pinned to YouTube. You guys will get the notification and make sure the notification bell's on so you know when I'll be going on. All right, Will, again, thanks for joining me, and I appreciate it.
As always.
And you guys could see me tomorrow over on NorCal Sports Network with Dan and Los talking more Giants baseball. There ain't nothing going on. Nothing is going
They're
on.
done. They're it's over with. Free agency's over with.
What it sounds like. Sounds like their free agency moves are over. That's what it sounds like.
He says he's satisfied.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Yeah.
But we'll break that down tomorrow at 8:30. So we'll see you guys then. Like I said, midweek, look for me here on Military History Chronicles. Take it easy, Will. Talk to you later.
Take care, man. Later, dude.
See ya.
Peace.